Hi, I'm Steve Sample with Bama Talk. Don't miss a single episode of Bama Talk Show, available now on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app, and on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.
This is the Weather Extreme video. This is for Friday morning, the 14th of December. I'm James Spann. Big weather changes coming up this weekend, and what's the weather going to do at Christmas time? A lot to talk about. Let's go. Let's check some of the Skycam shots early this morning. It's cold, and the sky's clear. What a great night for watching the meteor shower last night. Goodness, there were just so many of them. It was absolutely gorgeous. That's the Clanton Skycam in Chilton County. There's a look at downtown Fayette. And Selma's Skycam showing some pretty thick fog over the Alabama River. That's the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Boy, look at that trough coming into the southwest, producing a whole lot of snow back in the southern Rockies, and that's going to wet things down here before the weekend is over. But today will be very nice as dry air stays in place. Yeah, it's cold. Those are 5 o'clock temperatures, 26 in Haleyville, 28 for Fort Payne and Gadsden. But we should warm up into the low 60s today and around the nation. Again, we see some minus 25s up in Canada. And it's cold here, but we will moderate nicely over the weekend as we get back up into the mid-60s. There's the watch warning map. A lot of winter weather issues for the southern Rockies. Some high wind issues for parts of southwest Texas and southeast New Mexico. And we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Interesting to note in the convective outlooks, this is day 2 tomorrow. We now have the low-end 5% severe weather possibilities from western Kentucky down into parts of East Texas. This includes northwest Alabama. And, of course, this means that, there's no formal risk, but the storms could be strong. In Sunday, that 5% area covers basically all of Alabama. So we'll have to look at the severe weather possibilities on Sunday as we get into this. And here's the rain for the next 5 days. This carries us through Wednesday morning of next week, showing rain amounts of about 1 inch here. All right, model fans, this is the GFS, the Global Forecast System, the 06Z run, valid at noon today. And there's the big action back in the southwest United States, but around here things look good. Lots of sun with a high in the low 60s. Tomorrow, you can see the deal. Part of the southwest system lifts up towards Chicago, but a pretty good chunk of it hangs back. And down below that, there is a surface low that's on the Minnesota-Iowa border with rain around Chicago and a cold front that's not very active coming down through Little Rock and almost to Houston. And, during the day as moisture increases, there might be a shower here, but for now we're not going to really mention a big chance. I will say this, the NAM is a little more robust in the possibility of a shower tomorrow, but it's certainly not going to be a rainy type day. But Sunday should be a rainy type day. This is midday Sunday, noon. And again, that's showing a pretty good band of showers and storms coming in here. Let's check some of the severe weather parameters. This is the instability at noon Sunday, the surface-based CAPE. And the numbers have clearly come up. There will be some surface-based instability. In fact, as far north as Kentucky, this is showing the CAPE, the convective available potential energy, over 500 joules over parts of west and north Alabama at midday Sunday. So the buoyancy is there. You'd like to see those numbers a tad higher, but we have really learned you don't have to have an extremely large amount of CAPE to have severe weather. And I will say this, the NAM is printing a high of 71 on Sunday. Now, this is the the storm relative helicity in the lower levels from 0 to 1 kilometer. This is the veering of the wind with altitude in relation to storm motion. And those numbers are pretty high from basically, North Alabama on to the northeast. This is the STP, the significant tornado parameter. Thankfully, those numbers are all less than 1. In the supercell composite, showing a max over the Tennessee Valley of North Alabama up into parts of Middle Tennessee and the Cumberland Plateau. So, these numbers are not overwhelming, but they certainly are supportive of some strong storms Sunday, and we'll have to watch this thing as things unfold to see if the parameters are higher than their forecast now. But I think that low-end 5% possibility sounds about right. This is Sunday night at midnight, still suggesting that we are wet. The heavier rains may be shifting down to the south. And here's Monday at noon. And drier air is working into North Alabama. The rain is basically south and east of Montgomery. Just maybe a few peaks of sunshine breaking through Monday afternoon. Now, the question is Tuesday. You know, we've seen many runs of the European showing this very strong trough coming through Tuesday with maybe a few sprinkles. This is the GFS, and again, it's got the trough axis east of here with nothing. The air is so dry that we have no sprinkles. Just a change to colder air by Tuesday of next week as highs drop into the 50s. And now this is the European, and it's really in good agreement with the GFS. It is not as deep with the upper trough, and it shows no precipitation here. So I think we can start to consider removing that chance of scattered light rain Tuesday and just indicate maybe some scattered clouds and a change to colder air. And then Wednesday of next week looks pretty good. We'll start the day probably around the freezing mark, and the high should be in the low 60s. It'll be a pretty decent day. There's Thursday of next week, another cold front coming in, maybe a few showers. And then Friday, the weather turns colder. This is a week from today, December the 21st. And that would be a cool and dry day. Yeah, I know you want to know about that Christmas weather, don't you? So let's get out there and take a look. Ooh, all of a sudden a different kind of look coming from the GFS. But that's what happens in the land of voodoo. You don't get, every run looks the same. This is Christmas Eve, Monday, December 24th at noon. Surface low begins to gather. Really one over East Alabama and one over the northwestern Gulf. The air is pretty chilly. That is a 1,040 millibar high that's over Canada, feeding that down into the United States. And that'd be kind of close to some wintry weather issues if this is right. And then on Christmas Day, December 25th, it would be kind of chilly and dry. And that, that's what we've seen basically for many runs. This one not quite as cold as other runs, but the cold air here would be very shallow. I still think that'd be kind of a chilly day, but look at what's gathering over there on the Texas coast. The 26th, hey. Surface low south of Buras, Louisiana. Cold and wet. Could it be cold enough for some icing issues on the northern flank of that with a very shallow cold air mass and a 1042 high over Canada? And then on the 27th, ooh, boy, all of a sudden it looks like a big old snowstorm for parts of Tennessee and up into southeast Missouri and maybe northwest Alabama with a surface low near Jacksonville. But, hey, come on, this is the land of voodoo. The consistent idea has been cold and dry and not this. But it's just something to consider, and we'll watch that in coming days. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this morning. We'll have notes in the blog. Next video here by 4 o'clock or so today. And don't forget to watch ABC 3340 News on the live stream or the television side at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
Hey, this is Ross with my partner Bob. We have a show called Worldview Matters.
And Ross, as you know, we believe that everything in life is somehow related to how people view the world around them.
Our show is available on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Also available on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.